So, how concerned should we be? To talk more about this, I'm joined in the studio now by Shafqat Munir, the head of Bangladesh's Center for Terrorism Research, and Dr. Geeta Madhavan, who's the president of the International Law and Strategic Analysis Institute in Chennai and an international lawyer. Welcome to both of you. Mr. Munir, if I can just start with you. This purported threat from Islamic State threatening attacks in the region, how seriously should we take these warnings?
We should take these warnings very seriously. And as you know, Bangladesh, since 2016, has had a very proactive approach towards countering terrorism and violent extremism. And we take all these threats and warnings very seriously and quickly act upon it. And that's why we have had a dramatic reduction in the number of attacks in the last 2.5 years.
Bangladesh has always talked about Islamic State not being present there, but there's, of course, this homegrown terror from Jamaat ul-Mujahideen in Bangladesh that Bangladesh has been dealing with. What is the strategy that Bangladesh has been adopting to try and fight terrorism?
Bangladesh has taken a two-pronged strategy. One, we have really strengthened our capacity to degrade and destroy operational networks of militant groups. But at the same time, hand in hand, we're also taking the approach of countering and preventing violent extremism, by which we are taking a number of strategic measures, including steps towards countering radicalization and creating awareness and building social resilience against violent extremism.
Speaking of these steps, Dr. Geeta Madhavan, you've been studying terrorism for quite a long time. Now, in India, you had this recent case of the National Investigation Agency talking about 4 suspects that they have arrested who apparently had links to Islamic State. Is radicalization a huge problem in India, or what are the steps that India is taking to counter terrorism?
Okay, so when you talk about radicalization, we have to understand this in the Indian context specifically, because it's not a particular community or a particular religion is not a homogeneous unit in India like it is elsewhere. So across the country, you have different kinds of people, different sects, different beliefs. But there is a very strong moderate voice in India. So when you talk about radicalization, it permeates down to a minority. And I think it stems from a kind of fascination more than ideological commitment. And it also stems from the fact that the countries around India, at least we analysts in India believe that this radicalization is a process that comes from outside. And the people who get radicalized also are definitely people who are fascinated with it more than ideologically committed to it. This is what we have discovered. So what you referred to, yes, the NIA is very vigilant about it, but then India is such a large country with such a huge population, so you are definitely bound to find a few people who will, of course, behave in a rather aberrant manner.
You spoke about external influences impacting terrorism in South Asia in general. If there is this overall impact on terrorism in South Asia, is there a need for countries in the region to cooperate amongst themselves, intelligence sharing, or potentially new mechanisms of countering terrorism?
Absolutely,
Dr. Madhavan?
Absolutely. So I would break this into 3 levels. The first is, I wouldn't say control of the cyber, but definitely a kind of a check on the cyber. So, you know, India is one of the largest users of Facebook, and I think WhatsApp is like part of every Indian's life, and that's where the danger lies. But India has taken very strong steps in controlling that, and we are in the process of a robust cyber laws. The second thing is intel sharing. That is imperative, especially with those countries with whom we have very good relationships. And yes, we do have 1 or 2 neighbors with which historically we do not have such good relationship. In which case, of course, but still, because of the trust deficit, but intel sharing is imperative. And the third is the advantage of intel sharing, as you know, in the Sri Lanka issue, where India did share intel. Right. I think intel sharing also makes it kind of jolts the other possibility. The jolt is given, so the complacency into which countries slip in after a period of no action, that complacency is shaken. So intel sharing is imperative.
Shafqat Munir, final word?
I think terrorism and violent extremism is a threat faced by all of our countries across our region, and there's absolutely no substitute to transnational cooperation, regional cooperation, but also cooperation outside the region. So cooperation between the European Union and South Asia. And we all need to work together. And the civil societies in these countries have a very important role to play.
Right, we'll have to leave it there for the time being. Shafqat Munir and Dr. Geeta Madhavan, thank you so much for coming into the DW News studios.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you.